There are moments when trying to incorporate veganism into your lifestyle where you may come to learn that certain things you took for granted aren't actually vegan for no obvious reason. Sugar, for instance. As far as I knew, sugar is what you get when you, crush up sugarcane. Basically the same process as paper production, but with one less sugarcane involved. In reality, the process is a little more involved, and a majority of cane sugar production operations utilize animal bone char for the filtering and bleaching process, so that the sugar can reach the pure white color that we've all come to expect. Surprising to me, but easy to correct for. Beet sugar doesn't go through this process, and any sugar labeled as organic legally can't be filtered through bone char. On the flip side, and this is much rarer, mind you, sometimes things you wouldn't expect turn out to be vegan. Oreos.
How to eat an Oreo cookie.
Doritos. Only the purple flavor, but that's the best flavor, so that's all that matters. Swedish fish. The reason I bring this up is, during the course of finishing up editing for the second part of this video series, I was recording some supplementary footage while chatting with a friend of mine. He casually brought up the matter of the leather grips of the pistol and shotgun. My professed basis of reasoning for not using said weapons in the course of this vegan BioShock playthrough. He introduced me to the concept of a checkered wooden grip, something that I, as a vegan soy boy baby cuck, was not familiar with, having only ever handled firearms with synthetic stocks. And, upon closer examination of these incredibly useful weapons that I willingly banned myself from, I wanted to scream. Because that's exactly what they are.
A wooden gun. He tricked me with a wooden gun.
So what? No big deal. I can just switch to using them now, right? No. Because I recorded all the fucking gameplay footage weeks ago, and I've already edited a ton of this shit too, so you won't see me using the pistol or shotgun in any of these videos. It's too late now. The point here is I don't think that this should be viewed as a failing, as a wrongdoing on my part. In an attempt to adhere to my own moral code, I limited myself in a way that I knew I feasibly could, and in doing so, I erred on the side of caution. Sure, that caution was wasted effort in the end. Sure, I came out looking like a total idiot. Sure, none of this has any meaningful impact because it's all being done in BioShock. Sure, What the fuck? Why am I doing any of this? Upon arrival at Neptune's Bounty, the next major area of the game, Atlas tells me that I can meet up with him and his family at a submarine somewhere ahead.
My family's in a submarine hidden in the foundation of Fontaine Fisheries. I'll meet you there.
However, it looks like the journey there is going to be rife with adversity. But nothing, not even the constant barrage of body horror that I just escaped in the medical plaza, could have prepared me for the true nightmare that I would soon bear witness to here in Rapture's largest port. The sprawling bodies of fish torn asunder, their entrails laid out on tables before me, slaughtered not even for sustenance, but merely to spite their very existence. The unlucky survivors, trapped behind glass in a cramped space to rot away as the infrastructure that would see them fed deteriorates further. And the most ill-fated, left out to flounder in the air, stuck in a state of perpetual torment, somehow immune to the sweet embrace of death.
Life is pain! I hate...
Fontaine Fisheries. I swear this. If I ever meet this Fontaine guy, I want to see him suffer for what he's done here.
Fontaine's dead, and everybody knows it. In the ground for months.
Oh, okay, Atlas, I'm on my way, okay? Calm down. Gee, Atlas sure has some strong opinions about this Fontaine guy. I once again took a look at what sort of fun plasmids I ethically can't try out, and I guess as a form of karmic retribution for straying from the path of light, vibe check, I was shot in the head by a rocket turret. I escaped to the area below, finding another one of those deactivated flying turrets, and at the time, decided to hack it so that I could distract my enemies while I attempted to push forward. And that is when I learned that the hacking minigame is biased against vegans.
I'm tired of you stealing my life. I'm tired of you making me feel if I'm good or bad. I'm tired of you deciding how my day is. No more of you deciding my life. No more.
You see, there's this little difficulty meter at the bottom of the screen. As you progress through the game, the relative difficulty of the hacking puzzles you encounter rises as well. Alright, cool, only natural. If you're playing normally, letting yourself use tonics and such, then you can equip some that bring that difficulty down a little bit. Neat. But without those tonics, by the time you enter the next zone of the game, the difficulty slider is basically always going to be maxed out on anything you attempt to hack.
What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
So let me be clear. This isn't about me.
I don't consider myself an unreasonable man. I understand that I'm playing with a pretty hefty set of self-imposed restrictions, and would never fault the developers for not having the foresight to set their game up in a way that accommodates for myself playing as a vegan. What I do take issue with, though, is why sometimes, even at this moderate level of difficulty, the puzzles can be literally impossible to complete. Look, the pipes here cannot be arranged in any way to get to the exit, and this possibility only becomes more common as the difficulty rises. This is an occasional source of annoyance for the average player, but for a vegan, it probably happened like 1 out of every 4 hacking attempts I made after a certain point in the game. And bear in mind, every time I fail a hack, I'm either drained of all of my health, or a swarm of turrets is loosed on my position to gun me down. Memes aside, irony removed, no cap, whatever kids are saying now, I really like BioShock. It's a great game. But this has always been one legitimate flaw of its game design, in my opinion. Anyway, whatever. I'm not here to review BioShock. Plenty of far more intelligent people have done that before me. We're here to yell at it for not being vegan. I moved ahead, timing my hits properly to kill the rocket turret, and making my way to a strange old man named Peach Wilkins, who was supposed to let me pass through,
Get me some pictures.
but instead demands that I go find him a camera and take some weird voyeur shots for him of the spider splicers here in Neptune's bounty.
Maybe I could manage an invite.
While negotiating terms, however, our conversation was interrupted when I was suddenly attacked by the very same spider splicer who greeted me when I arrived in Rapture. Luckily, with the help of a convenient Deus Ex Machina, she was scared off. And thank God, because I was doing shit for damage there. I think even Peachy realized this too, so as a way to sweeten the deal, he sent through a new weapon for me.
Rocket launcher!
I scrutinized this one for a bit, my instincts telling me that there's no feasible way something with such destructive power.
Are you serious?
Genuinely, I didn't even notice that detail until editing this segment. I don't even feel like this actually changes whether or not the grenade launcher is vegan, though. There isn't anything inherent to its utility or design that contains milk, it's just that it so happens to have a part in its architecture that was once used to store milk. Even in my real, daily life, when meticulously parsing food ingredient labels, I'll give something a pass if it contains no animal products, but nonetheless has that warning that states, produced in a facility that processes milk. Sure, I may be consuming a few microns of milk that I didn't intend to, but as someone who has, in the past, worked in the food industry, I operate under the assumption that anytime I'm eating a processed food, there's a good chance that there's shit in there that I don't want to eat. And I mean that literally in some cases. But yeah, anyway, back to the video. I'm just gonna jump back in at the exact moment that I paused. Could possibly be vegan. Certainly some component of its makeup would be an animal product. But after the typical 15 minutes spent browsing Google, I was pleasantly surprised to discover that the grenade launcher, as far as I could tell, is indeed vegan. This created an official trend of every other weapon being something that I could ethically allow myself to use. You'd think I'd be as excited for this as I was for the machine gun, and at some level, yes, at this point, already the wrench damage is falling off pretty drastically, so a backup weapon that packs such a punch is a huge boon. But at the same time, this thing ain't cheap to use and I'm not exactly rolling in cash. Eventually, I found the Wharfmaster's quarters where the camera was stored while testing my new toy along the way. Picking up the camera, I realized that for some reason it's classified as a weapon, whatever. It also looks like something from the 20s rather than the 50s or early 60s, again, whatever. But most importantly, while doing my 15 minutes of Google research once again, I realized that it's not vegan to use the camera. Film isn't vegan. Yeah, I genuinely didn't know that one going into this. Film is made with gelatin derived from the bones of dead animals. We could get into a debate over the real-world ethical impact regarding how animal bones are merely a byproduct of other more flagrant industries, and how one horse skeleton could theoretically provide the gelatin for over 10,000 feature-length films. But if I have an opportunity to get extra vegan cred by sticking to my absolutist stance where I can, you better believe that I'm going to. But there's the rub. I can't. The next objective that the game gives me to progress is to take 3 photos of 3 different spider splicers for old Peachy. In the moment, I put it off for as long as I theoretically could, but I knew inevitably before I got out of this place that I'd be whipping out that spreadsheet to add some more forced non-vegan actions to the list. While moving forward, suddenly, from the ceiling, I was attacked by another spider splicer. This one went down way easier than the last. Not really sure what's up with that. It's almost like that first encounter is set up in such a way that you're not actually supposed to be able to kill her, and if I had remembered that, then maybe I could have saved some ammo. Ha 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 ha. I just want to mention how much I love the ragdoll deaths in this game. Just look at this. I killed my second spider splicer with the help of some proximity mines, and my third with just raw firepower. It was after killing this third one that I finally decided to get the weird research photos for Peachy. Not sure exactly what their purpose is. I mean, he's a weird old man, all alone, locked in a room. Actually, I think I know why he wants these. But yeah, those 3 photos are 3 more non-vegan actions, bumping us up from 8 to 11 total. I worked my way back to Peachy, gave him the photos, and he opened the way for me. Partially. He opened the door, but then followed with the demand that I hand over all my weapons before coming through the next door. This is obviously a trap. Atlas even points it out, saying, "Oh, he can't take your plasmids away." Shut up, Atlas, you're just rubbing it in now. I hope your family dies. Ah, shit, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean that. I'm just really stressed out right now. I handed my weapons over and stepped through into this giant freezer area. I was allowed to keep my wrench, which is nice, but I was not ready for what followed. This next area was an absolute nightmare. I ran around like a chicken with its head cut off, which I guess isn't exactly a very vegan metaphor for me to be using. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted by the dozens of people trying to murder me. Luckily, hacking is vegan, so I dashed from cover to cover trying to turn the swaths of turrets in the room against their masters and swinging my 2 DPS wrench at the distracted splicers, one by one until I slowly managed to clear out the room, constantly restocking on health kits through the vending machine in the area. I swear the whole setup was just a money-making scheme by whoever runs these things. In the end, I survived, and was rewarded with my first encounter with a Power to the People station, which allows you to upgrade one of your weapons. Given my 2 choices, machine gun or grenade launcher, I decided to go with machine gun. Given how often I was missing my shots, I just felt that recoil reduction made a little bit of sense. But the game can't just give out a reward. It also has to rub salt in my wounds at any opportunity.
You don't win friends with salad. You don't win friends with salad.
Before being able to proceed any further, I'm forced to use the incinerate plasmid, not once, but 2 more times in order to melt ice and clear the way. 3 times if you're stupid and don't check the map to see which direction is the exit. Moving through the previously frozen over tunnel, I make my way to the next area of the game, a brief pit stop known as Smuggler's Hideout, where I'm to meet with Atlas and his family, who are currently waiting in a submarine to get the hell out of this godforsaken place. I grabbed a few drinks as I casually strolled ahead, and Atlas popped in over the radio, asking me to head to the control booth to hit a switch so that he can be let in. Shortly before doing so, however,
"You had your fun, but enough is enough."
Citizen Kane pops in over the radio, telling me that this is my final warning to stop doing stuff that he doesn't like before he gets really upset with me. For real this time. I ignored the warning, seeing as how I've summarily handled every splicer he's sent at me so far with one of my hands basically tied behind my back. Hitting the switch, there's a problem though. A flickering of power and the door behind me sealing shut. I don't like when exits get blocked off in this game because it usually means I have to use a plasmid to get out.
Dad? How do I feel about locked doors?
Atlas, down on the ground, tries to remedy the situation, but things start to take a turn for the worse, and Henry Ford starts speaking in an increasingly more ominous tone. Splicers set in on our position, and Atlas, being the little baby that he is, apparently can't handle them himself, even with plasmids. He needs the guy ethically limiting himself to 3 weapons to go save his wife and child for him. Fucking casual.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran after them.
Just absolutely tearing through these splicers. The precision upgrade for the machine gun even brought my accuracy up to a respectable level. See, Atlas, you wouldn't need random strangers getting caught in the city to rescue your family if you would just learn to go ahead. Oh my god. Atlas. I was gonna leave in that submarine. God damn it, now I have to stay in the city even longer. Great, how many more non-vegan actions is that gonna be?